Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Bishop Speaks, and I just want to tell my story. It's so good to be back here recording another video. I'm so thankful for all the love I've received so far. But make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I just got through having dinner, and of course I went to church this morning. My pastor gave an anointed word of shaking it off. No matter how many enemies you have or how many circumstances of life try to come your way to sway you or attack you, just shake it off and keep praising God. And I definitely needed that word today. Also, I just had a random thought. I just got through listening to, because I love old school music. I can get with the little of the new school. Most of it I just can't get with. But I love old school pop, R&B, gospel. And I was listening to Whitney Houston. It's Not Right, But It's Okay. And I remember when that song first came out, and Whitney, that was a very special song for me and a very special moment in my life. But also, I should have known I was gay back then. I was like, 7 years old? I should have known I was gay back then, because I remember every time the video would come on the television, I would have to stop whatever I was doing to watch that video. And I should have known I was gay because I actually wanted to be Whitney. And if you remember that video, you can YouTube it right now if you want. She had the black leather dress with the chain, the dark makeup, the choker. I wanted to be Whitney Houston in that moment. That if I could have traded places, that would have been me, Whitney Houston, standing there in that black leather dress. So I should have known I was gay then, but I came out at 18. But I should have come. I was already out. I was already out. My mother even said at 4 she knew I was gay, but I should have just come on out at around 7 or 8. That would have saved a whole lot of confusion and struggle. But I'm here to talk about, and I know I'm late, but I'm here to talk about the first presidential debate for election 2024, and to talk about the election in general. Now, I've always made it a point to watch the debates whenever a presidential election comes up. And honestly, it's important to me. Obviously, I am an American citizen. I'm a black American citizen. I'm a black gay American citizen. Black gay autistic American citizen. So the country's leader, or the leadership that we're in, is crucial to me, because there's always that looming threat of civil and human rights being taken away. So I watched the full 2 hours of the debate, and I just have to say, America, we are in serious trouble. We're in serious trouble. And I will tell you, I'll be honest with you. I am a progressive independent, which means I'm for human rights. I believe in global warming and climate change. Obviously, as a member of the LGBTQ community, I am for the rights of same-sex couples, transgender individuals. Obviously, I'm black, so civil rights is crucial to me, as well as many people. I live in Palmetto, and there are more black citizens in Palmetto than any other race or ethnicity. So this is all very important to me. But again, my honest opinion, we are in serious trouble, and I don't know what we as Americans are going to do, particularly those of us who do not like Biden and do not like Trump. I watched the 2 hours of the debate, and I was hoping that maybe one of them will say something that will give me an ounce of hope or a little assurance. I wasn't expecting a whole lot considering the last time that they were in a debate, which was 4 years ago, and that was a hot, god-awful mess. But I was hoping that this time one of them would say something that would give a little spark. And that hope was dashed in about 10 minutes of the debate. And those of you that follow me on Twitter, or X, well, I still call it Twitter, I was disgusted, thoroughly disappointed. I want to start with President Biden first. Now, President Biden, 4 years ago, when he won the election, and I live in Fulton County, and of course, Fulton County is the most populous area in the state of Georgia. It's home to the capital city, which is Atlanta, and there were a lot of members of the Black community that came out and voted for Biden and ultimately took him over the top, because remember, it took a few days before we found out who would be the next president. But a lot of us voted, well, I didn't vote, I voted Libertarian, but a lot of people in my community voted for President Biden. And I remember his victory speech in Delaware, his home state of Delaware. And he said that to the Black community directly, that he would belong to us. He belonged to us, and that he was going to do everything in his power to make sure that he fought for us. Well, here we are 4 years later, and honestly, the Biden administration, I'm not saying they haven't done anything at all, but the Biden administration has done very little for the community. Nothing really substantial. I mean, he made Juneteenth a federal holiday, which of course I felt should have already happened, should have happened decades ago, but we barely got Martin Luther King Day, and that came from Ronald Reagan, and God knows he didn't want to sign that holiday into law to become a federal holiday. But my honest to God opinion is that we received surface level victories. We got some monuments, we got statues of George Floyd, but honestly, when the Asians received the anti-hate crime bill, because during the height of COVID, there were a lot of attacks and discrimination against the Asian community. And I remember here in the metro Atlanta area, we had the massacre of the Asians at the different spas. I believe that was in the Cheshire Bridge area. And the Asian anti-hate bill was signed into law. We did not receive, Black people did not receive an anti-hate crime bill. We didn't even get the anti-lynching bill, which has been attempted for years to get passed and signed into law. That didn't happen. I remember when they wore the kente cloth, and former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she was kneeling, as well as other Democratic congressmen and women in the kente cloth, and that was disgusting to me. I felt like it was performative, and it really was asinine and inconsequential. But again, like I said, I said when Biden got elected, I said, look, and I tweeted this, I said, President Biden and Vice President Harris, they need to pass as many bills as possible to help and basically uplift the black community. But that didn't happen, which I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew deep down inside it wasn't going to happen. But so that's why Biden is where he is as far as the polls. And I'm a firm believer. I don't believe the polls. You know how they do the polls with ABC or CBS, even Fox News. I don't believe it, because a lot can happen between the time those polls are done and what actually happens on election day or with the early voting. But honestly, I didn't expect too much from President Biden. And if you know his history, he was against busing integration back in the 70s. And of course was one of the main architects of the crime bill that put so many minorities behind bars for nonviolent drug offenses. So that was my reason of not supporting Biden ultimately. And trust me, I was a diehard Democrat. I was a diehard Democrat. I supported Obama through his first term. I was too young. I couldn't vote then. When he was running for re-election in 2012, that was my first time ever voting. And obviously, I was going to vote for President Obama because there was no way I was going to vote for Mitt Romney. Back in 2016, when we had Hillary Clinton and Trump, I was the one that voted for Hillary Clinton because I knew instinctively that a Trump presidency would be disastrous. And a lot of people in the black community at that time were not really as motivated or excited. Of course, when Obama was running, we came out in droves. When 2016 came and there was Clinton versus Trump, again, it was almost like pulling teeth. We really didn't want to do it. We really didn't want to go through with the election, but considering we had Trump as the alternative, that's what forced some people to vote for Hillary Clinton. But unfortunately, Trump ended up winning then, and we had 4 years of it was a hot god-awful mess. And of course, when COVID hit, Trump and his response was completely mediocre. And that is the reason why Biden was able to come in and win in 2020. But here we are, we're back with Biden and Trump part 2. And I know a lot of you all are nervous, a lot of you all are scared, but we have to have hope for a brighter day. But will I be voting for Biden? No, I won't. I'll be voting for Dr. Cornel West. And I know what you all are thinking. Hey, a vote that's not for Biden is a vote for Trump. Well, I have the right to vote for whoever I want to vote for. That's my right as an American citizen and as a human being, a free-thinking human being. Now, Trump, as far as that, his debate performance, it was horrible because he lied or evaded every question. And of course, a lot of you all have heard about Project 2025. And I know for a fact that if Trump wins in November, Project 2025 will come to pass. And I've had time to read over not all, but most of the details involving what that would be. And let me tell you, it's not what you want. If you are black, brown, if you are an immigrant, if you are an advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, if you are a member of the LGBTQ community, this is something you don't want. But Trump, you're a god-awful mess, and I don't care how many negative views or dislikes I may get. Trump is a horror. Honestly, there was no way he should have won in 2016. There was no way. But now in 2024, as a convicted felon, not only a convicted felon, but a convicted felon that was found guilty on all counts, someone that has been proven to be a liar, a cheater, a corrupt businessman, a blatant bigot, there is no way that he should even be running. But of course, we live in a country where racism and bigotry has been a part of the fabric ever since the inception of America. It's been woven into the quilt that is the United States. Slavery and tyranny and the bloodshed of innocent people helped build this country, made America rich. And unfortunately, we're at a place now where we are at the cliff. We're at the edge of the cliff. And either way, my honest to God opinion, whoever wins, I don't care if it's Biden or if it's Trump, it's going to be a disaster. And I'm a firm believer, you don't have to vote for Joe Biden, but you darn sure don't have to vote for Donald Trump. And I sometimes think to myself, how in the world did we get to this place? How do we get to the place where we have two elderly white men who, in my opinion, are incapable of holding leadership? How did we get to the place where they are the only two options we have? I remember watching the debate and I saw how Biden, I call it glitching. He was glitching. Biden was glitching. Trump was tripping. It seemed like President Biden was almost incoherent. And of course, Trump spewing out lies and venom. So I'm a firm believer in my faith. I believe in Christ Jesus, and I believe no matter who is president, he still sits high and looks low. And that he will make a way for all of us, regardless of who is in office. But as far as the future of America, we are in trouble. We are in serious trouble. And I don't know what we're going to do. But the only thing I can tell you all out there is whoever you feel is the best qualified or the most qualified, whoever you feel is the stronger candidate, vote for whoever you want to vote for. That is your right. That is your God-given right as an American citizen. But both Biden and Trump are trash. I just think I describe Biden as a trash can, Trump as a whole landfill. But we'll see what happens. We are less than 4 months away from the election. And of course, I'll keep making videos the closer we get. When the next debate happens, I'll make another video, but we just have to hold on to our faith, and we have to have hope. And my motto is hope for the best, prepare for the rest. And the way it's looking to me, we need to really hunker down and put our thigh-high boots on, because we are going to be knee deep in feces.